make you train that how to imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your mains answer writing, wherein your mains answers should be precise and concise. Once your mains answers are precise and concise, certainly you will score more marks or high marks in the mains examinations, and thereby you will make sure that this will be very useful for the prelims as well as mains examinations for both 2020 as well as 2021. And now the session is in regards to daily news analysis, which is today's the 30, the Hindu daily news analysis, and I would be re-emphasizing and then reiterating my tagline, that is Sandeep Bhushan tagline, which is that the importance of imbibing the keywords and the key phrases, or emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, which will be very useful for prelims as well as mains examinations. And before I get into the topic, I would say a very good morning to all of you. Very good morning to you, the one who is in the live and also in the live chat. Vijaya, Nagesh, Rahul, Nandita Tepa, Madhava, everyone, very good morning. And I'll get into the quote of the day. What is today's quote of the day is, don't stop when you're tired. You have to stop only when you're done. That means once you attain the goal, once you reach the goal, only when you reach the goal, only then you have to stop. But you should not stop whenever you're tired. No, tiredness is definitely that wherein you will experience in the due course of your preparation or reaching your goal. It could be short term goal or long term goal, but what is very important is that you need to keep it in mind that you should never stop. You should never have that the flow to be stopped. That is why I always say consistency is very important. And here, do not stop or don't stop when you're tired. You stop only when you're done. Done in the sense when you reach the goal. So this is the quote of the day, which will definitely, I feel, it will motivate you throughout the day to go ahead with your preparation and reach your goal. And the Harika Yadav has also joined. Praveen Eslawat, David Paul, very good morning to you all. And the news which I will be focusing, or the one which will go ahead with the DNA, that is daily news analysis, is the highlights of the new education policy. So yesterday the Union Cabinet has approved the new education policy along with the HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal has gone ahead with coming up with the new education policy, which has been approved by the Union Cabinet. Along with in the meeting, along in that, even the HRD minister was there, that is Ramesh Pokhriyal was also present, and they have introduced, or they have introduced the new educational policy, or new national education policy. And this is very important for mains examinations, and this is very important. So what is very important, the keyword is national educational policy, or we can say new national education policy 2020 has been approved 2020. And why it is very important is because it is very important in regards to the mains examinations, that is in regards to the general essay, wherein you have a topic in regards to the compulsory topic and a compulsory question on education. So definitely this will be very useful, that is in regards to the new education policy, which has been approved by the cabinet, Union Cabinet, on July 29, that is yesterday, 2020. And this education policy, the education policy what we had earlier was the last one, or the first one was the last time. I mean, the first time when the education policy has come up in India was 34 years back. So we will look at when was the first time, second time, and this is the third time. This is now the new education policy 2020 is the third time in the independent India, And there was a panel which was being set up by the former ISRO chief, that is K. Kasturi Rangan. Again, this is very important for the prelims point of view. This is important for the prelims point of view. So the government of India has constituted a panel in regards to submitting a draft or coming up with a draft proposal in regards to the new education policy for India. That is the new education policy draft of 2019. New educational policy draft, a draft of new education policy 2019. The panel was set up and it was headed by the ISRO chief, former ISRO chief K. Kasturi Rangan, and he has submitted the draft in the year 2018 and it was made public and open for feedback after the Lok Sabha elections in May 2019. So what is important is, for prelims point of view, who has headed the panel which was being set up for the drafting of the new education policy, that is headed by the former ISRO chief K. Kasturi Rangan, and it was submitted to the government, that is in the year 2018 December. And now we will look at before we get into the education policy which was been approved and what are the highlights of it. Now we will focus on the highlights of the new education policy again later on, because probably in a 1 or 2 days I will also post the PDF file in the in my Telegram link, my personal Telegram link. I will come up with the entire, for the mains point of view and the prelims point of view, I'll come up with the PDF. I'll post a PDF, but here we will look at the highlights. And Santosh Kumar has joined, Dhanushya, Satish Kola, RS Studio, Prasad Taneru, all of you, very good morning. And then now we are looking at the highlights of the new education policy. So what is the first, highlights? That is a 4-year undergraduate degree. Now what is important is, earlier we had 3-year undergraduate. So degree was 3 years. Now it will be 4-year undergraduate degree with multiple entry and exit options. So definitely you can have the entry and you can also have the exit. But here what is very important is, the new education policy or new national education policy has come up with the 4-year undergraduate degree. This is very important, 4-year. And it has also abolished the MPhil degree. So earlier we had the MPhil degree, but now MPhil, Master of Philosophy degree, has been abolished, and you have only PhD, no MPhil. And then the other one is, they have the new national education policy has established a common higher educational regulator. So here it is in regards to the common higher education regulator in regards to the fee. So here you have a common higher education regulator with fee fixation for both private and public institutions. So here, both for the public and private institutions, there would be a common fee. So that is been established here. So please do understand the highlights. One is the 4-year undergraduate degree, and then abolish of MPhil degree, and establishment of higher education regulator with fee fixation for both the private and the public institutions. And then Gopinath has joined, UMR Creation, Soil Arafat. Very good morning to you. We are discussing, or I am explaining about the highlights of the new national educational policy, and it also envisions, what does it envision? Universalization of early childhood education. So this is very important. Universalization of early childhood education, which is ages from 3 to 6 years. And it will start by 2030. It will be starting by 2030. So it is envisioning, it is going at with the universalization of early childhood. Universalization, this is very important keyword, universalization of early childhood education. And the other one is new school curriculum. They will come up with the new school curriculum with what? With coding. You have the new school curriculum with coding and vocational studies. So a new curriculum is coming up with a concept called as coding and vocational studies, from 6th standards itself, from 6th standard onwards. And a child's mother tongue. Now this is very, very important, because this was in news and there was a lot of debate in regards to the mother tongue, whether it should be used. Yes, now the new national education policy talks about the child's mother tongue being used as a medium of instruction till class 5. So up till class 5, the child can go ahead with using the medium that is the mother tongue. The child's mother tongue can be used as the medium of instruction. This is important. Medium of instruction up to class 5. So mother tongue can be used as a medium of instruction up to class 5th or standard, 5th standard, up to 5th standard. This is a very big move, because there is lot of issue or debate which has been in regards to the language which can be used or mother tongue which can be used. And then the class 10 and the class 12 board examinations will be made easier. Why? Because the class 10 and the class 12 examinations, what we talk about the board examinations, so definitely the board examinations, now they would be in regards to checking the standard of the students in regards to the competencies, rather than they will be checking the competency. That means what is the competency that the student is carrying, that will be checked in the class 10 and class 12 board examination, but not the memorized facts. Please do understand. So now the entire change of the system of the examination, the board examination system is now being changed. They are being, or they will be focusing on the core competency. They will be testing the core competency of the student, especially the class 10 and class 12 in the class 10 and class 12 board examinations. Rather than, or earlier they were being tested on memorized facts. No, now they will not be testing on the memorized facts, but they will be testing on the core competencies, and the exam will be conducted twice, with all students allowed to take the exam twice. So this is very important. Now the class 10 and class 12 board examinations, competencies is tested rather than the memorized facts. And undergraduate education is to become, now the undergraduate education, UG undergraduate education will become more holistic, that is completeness, more holistic and multidisciplinary. So definitely now, as we said, that 4-year degree, 4-year undergraduate course will be coming up with research degrees. So this is very important for the youth, who are now almost now in the 15 years or 15 to 17 years. So definitely they can have a undergraduate education wherein it concentrates on the holistic approach and with a multidisciplinary. That means you will have various courses wherein the youth or the student can take up, which will be holistic, and it will have a research degree also. Please do understand, this is very important. Not a normal degree or undergraduate degree, you will also have a research degree. This will really create it will be a game changer. It will be a game changer in the life of the youth or the student, in the lives of the youth or the students. So undergraduate education, which would be focusing on the holistic approach and the multidisciplinary, and also it will have a research degree attached to it with a 4-year bachelor's degree. This is very important. So then definitely there is impact on the school education, higher education, in regards to the new national education policy and additional key focus areas. I will also discuss about what are the focus areas that the government has taken into consideration in regards to the national educational policy, new national education policy, and how this new national educational policy will transform the education, what it was almost in, what you say, last 34 years, and now the way the system will change, the way the students will get into the mode, or should get into the mode of having the new competencies rather than the memorized facts. Yes, I would say very good morning to Ashwik before I get into the topic. Ashwini, very good morning. Rahul also very good morning. And Rahul says, when will the implementation start? Yes, definitely I'll look at. So when it is approved, it will take place. First you look at the highlights. Rahul, please focus on the highlights. We will also look at the implementation. And there is new focus. What is important is there is new focus on technology in education. So now the focus will be on technology, introducing technology in education, and this is where we are actually heading towards. New focus on what? Usage of technology, or implementing or using the technology in education. As we have seen, because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, it was, I mean, the entire country or the world is forced to have or get into the online courses or online education. Fine. So this is a blessing in disguise, wherein the digital or expansion of the digital or the online is taking place, and now the government wants to come up with a policy which recommends the expansion of digital offerings for both the schools and universities. So definitely technology and education, when we are talking about, it will be in the schools and also in regards to the university levels. So definitely university levels, there would be digital expansion of the digital offerings, and this is a new focus. And the three languages learned by the children, because we know that we will have definitely Hindi, we will have English, and then the mother tongue Telugu, or else first language, second language, and third language. First language, second language, and then third language. Fine. So the three languages which are learned by children will be the choice. Now this is very, very important. Now the key highlight in the entire is the language, because as I said, language was a debatable, language was a debatable one, because India has a varied secular approach or secular states, and has many languages across the country, length and breadth of the country. So definitely the language debate was there, and now the new education policy is focusing on the three languages learned by the children will be at the choice of the states. So now the language will be the choice of the state. The choice will be made by the state, by the region, and obviously by the students. So the language in the school education will be of the choice, which can be by the state government, region, by the region, and also by the students. And what is very important is, in this choice, at least two languages out of three. Why we are talking about three? First language, second language, and third language. So the two languages out of the three languages should be native to India, native in India. That means that language should be indigenous to India. So this is very important. The choices would be made by the states, by the region, by the students, and the languages out of the three languages, two languages should be native of India or native to India. This is very important. And there is another highlight, that is Sanskrit will be offered as an option at all levels. So definitely you have Sanskrit, which is also taken into consideration. So it will be offered at all levels of school and higher education. So you have Sanskrit language, you have classical language. Please do understand here. You have Sanskrit language, you have classical language, and this classical language will be available possibly on online module, on online modules. Classical language on online module. And then in regards to the Sanskrit language, both in school and higher education, that is at all levels of schools and higher education. And the third one is in regards to the foreign languages. Foreign languages will be offered at the secondary level of the school education. Secondary level of the school education. So all Sanskrit, classical languages, and foreign languages are very, very important in regards to this explanation. That is the highlights of the new national education policy 2020. Okay, Madhu, before I get into the topic, Madhu says, but sir, education comes under the concurrent list, but how can cabinet unilaterally take decisions regarding it without the consultation of the students? Okay, so as I said, okay, probably you did not focus on this. As I said, the first, please look at this, Madhu, and for everyone also. The new the panel was set up by former ISRO chief K. Kasturi Rangan, submitted a draft. So the panel has submitted a draft in December 2013, which was made public. Please do understand, Madhu and everyone. It was made public and opened for feedback. Opened for feedback after the Lok Sabha election in May 19. So it was made public. It was made public and it was open for feedback. So definitely it was, the panel has definitely submitted the draft, and then the government has taken into consideration all the feedbacks which were given by the states. Are you getting the point, Madhu? This is very important, which was made public and opened for feedback after the Lok Sabha elections 2019, May 2019. So definitely it was opened, it was made public, it was also accepting the feedbacks given from the all the stakeholders in education across the country of all the states. I think everyone has uh, understood this point if you had the doubt. And good, Madhu has asked, and it will be beneficial to everyone. And school governance is set to change. Now, what is important is the school governance, the, the school governance, the way the governance of the schools take place will is set to change. Why it is set to change? Because it will come up with the new accreditation framework. Accreditation in the sense like kind of authority it will have, and an independent, it will come up with a new accreditation framework, and it will also come up with the independent authority. Why all this is because to regulate or to both public administer what both public and private schools. And this is very very important, that the school governance is set to change with a new accreditation framework with new independent authority. And what this new two I mean that is the new accreditation framework, that is a framework in the sense rules and regulations. So you will have new rules and regulations, you will have an independent authority or a body. Why? To regulate both the public and private schools, public and private schools. That is what the school governance is set to change. When we are talking of school, both public and private schools. And another one is an academic bank of credit. This is very important keyword, so it's a new keyword, please do understand. An academic bank of credit will be set up, so they will come up as per this new education policy. Academic extremely sorry Academic bank credit is to be set up. And what does this academic bank credit ABC, what does it do? It will make easier to transfer between institutions for the students. This is very very important, because the central government, whenever there is lot of what do you say transfers for the parents, so definitely the students, the kids should not be hampered, their education should not be hampered. So definitely the concept which the government or the new national education policy is coming with, the academic bank credit, this will be set up. And by this it will make easier to transfer between the institution. The students can transfer from one institution to another institution when the parents are getting transferred or for whatever reasons again, right? And there is another point wherein they wanted to make sure that the gross enrollment, that is the dropouts should be very less, that means more of enrollment. So they wanted to double the gross enrollment ratio. This is very important. That is what number of students into the higher education, including the vocational education. So the gross enrollment ratio, they wanted to double it both in higher education and also in regards to the vocational education, higher education and vocational education. As per 2018, it is standing 26.3 percentage, and by 2035 they wanted to increase by 50 percentage. This is very important. And they wanted to also set up gender inclusion fund. All these are very very important keywords. Double the gross enrollment ratio, academic bank credit, school governance, all these are very important. And they would set up a gender inclusion fund. Why? Because they wanted to make sure that there is equitable quality education. Please do understand this keyword. The government wanted to provide equitable, that means same, equal quality of education to all the girls, whether it is what do you say from the higher income group, middle income group, or lower income group, or poor people, and also to the transgender students. So equitable quality of education to all the girls and to the transgender. These are very very important. GER is boys or girls. Okay, it is gender inclusion. That means wherever there is less of girls, they will provide equal. Generally, it is the girls are less in number, and there for that they wanted to go ahead with gender inclusion fund. So by this, what will happen is to build the country's capacity to provide. So in India, that is in our country, the girls are not having the same amount of equitable quality education compared to the boys. That is why they wanted to go ahead with setting up of gender inclusion fund, especially focusing on girls and transgender. I think Ashwini, you got the point. It is for the girls, all girls and transgender students. And this existing national or new national education policy was actually framed in the year 1986 and revised in 1992 and then now in 2020. So this is third after 34 years. From 1992 to 2020, it is 34 years. Fine. So this is very, very important. The first time when the national education policy was set up was in the year 1986, then in 1992, and the third in now 2020. This is very important. And then I would say very good morning to Sri Devi, Ashwini Kumar, Ram Kumar, and then Ashwini Kumar. Okay, very good morning to you all. So we have looked at the highlights of the new national education policy, and that will be very, very important for both prelims and mains examination. Now we will look at the other news which talks about Rajasthan Speaker moves Supreme Court again. So we have seen the kind of the political instability which is prevailing in Rajasthan because of the speaker issuing the disqualification notices, because speaker has issued disqualification notices to 19 MLAs. This we know it, I have been discussing, fine. And then later on, the 19 MLAs have approached the Rajasthan High Court. Rajasthan High Court has put a stay that the speaker should not take any action on the 19 MLAs up to July 24. Again on July 23rd, the speaker of the Rajasthan Assembly has approached the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has said that we will not encourage this because it is in the High Court, Rajasthan High Court. And then Supreme Court has also said that we are looking at it as a larger question. I am saying all this, I am just revising once. So the Supreme Court has said that we will look at the case, what the petition filed by the Speaker of the Rajasthan, that the disqualification notice issued by the Speaker of the Rajasthan, the Supreme Court said it will be looking at it as a larger question, whether voice of dissent can be, compressed, or it can be squeezed by disqualification. This is what the Supreme Court has said, fine. And then later on again the High Court has said not only up to July 24th, but it said up to it did not mention any time, but it has said until further notice, the Speaker of the Rajasthan High Court should not take any action should not go ahead with the disqualification of the 19 MLAs on July 24th, the High Court has said. And thereby again the Speaker of the Rajasthan has withdrawn the case in the Supreme Court, and now this is all what I have given is the recap what has happened. Now again the Rajasthan Speaker is moving to the Supreme Court again. So this CP Joshi, that is Rajasthan Assembly Speaker, has moved to the Supreme Court. Why? He has the Speaker of the Rajasthan or Rajasthan Assembly has moved to the Supreme Court, once again. Why? Because he says that the High Court, that is the Rajasthan High Court, which has gone ahead with deferring the disqualification notices given by the Speaker himself, is definitely, it is unconstitutional. He says it is unconstitutional, and High Court interference is unconstitutional. He is again being approached by the Speaker of the Rajasthan to the Supreme Court once again on which the state high court has given an order on July 24th. So he is filing a case. He has filed a case against the state high court, that is Rajasthan High Court July 24th order. Please do understand. And Mr. Joshi is also making it very clear to the Supreme Court, saying that this status quo. What do you mean by status quo? That is present situation. Status quo means present situation. That is the status quo order. The status quo order which has been issued by the Rajasthan High Court. The status quo, that means the status quo order, what the Rajasthan High Court has said is that whatever the situation is now, let it be like that. That means the speaker cannot go ahead with disqualifying the 19 MLAs. That is what it is very clearly said. Very clearly said. Okay. So what is important is the speaker is saying or is going ahead with the the status quo order, which the Rajasthan High Court has said is definitely the Rajasthan High Court is interfering in the discretionary powers of speaker. Discretionary power of speaker, and it says that the Lakshmana Rekha, that means the Rajasthan High Court has crossed the Lakshmana Rekha between the judiciary and legislation. So definitely there is definitely what the judiciary has to do, that is there is a domain, there is a space what the judiciary has to do, what the legislator has to do. There is no mention or there should not be any interference of judiciary into the legislature, and that is what it says. It is unconstitutional. That is the judiciary, the High Court interfering into the discretionary powers of the speaker. Yes, judicial activism. Absolutely, Rahul. Absolutely. It is judicial activism. That is what Mr. Joshi, that is the Rajasthan speaker, is definitely getting into it, and he says the domain of the judiciary and the legislature has to be protected, and the interference of the High Court into the discretionary power of the speaker is definitely interference of the judiciary into the legislature, and that is what it says. And judiciary was never expected, and what he also, the speaker is also making it very clear is that the judiciary is never expected under the 10th schedule. So we know all this in regards to we are talking about the disqualification. So what do you mean by disqualification? Disqualification by the speaker of the MLAs is mentioned in the 10th schedule, that is anti-defection law. That is anti-defection law. Fine. So here again he says that 10th schedule, to interfere the manner is been done in the case of encroachment. So definitely it is the judiciary is, as Rahul said, activism. Judiciary is encroaching in the sense interfering into the exclusively reserved, into the discretionary powers of speaker. The discretionary power of speaker, that is what the what the speaker of the Rajasthan, CP Joshi, is making it very clear to the Supreme Court once again. And the status quo order interdicts, I said, the status quo order by the Rajasthan High Court on July 24th. What the speaker says is, this order interdicts in the sense prohibits. That means it is stopping the speaker from proceedings even to adjudicate. That means any formal judgment. So definitely the disqualification is the discretionary power of the speaker. So that the status quo order, please do understand the conceptual point. What is very important in this entire scenario episode is the status quo order of the Rajasthan High Court on July 24th is stopping the speaker to go ahead with disqualifying the 19 MLAs, is prohibiting the speaker to take any formal judgment against the 19 MLAs in regards to the disqualification as per the 10th schedule. As per the 10th schedule and the paragraph 2 of 1. of the 10th schedule. So this is very, very important. And what is a very important keyword is status quo order of Rajasthan High Court, which it has given on July 24th. Ramesh says Speaker is supreme leader to make decisions on disqualification. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But I have also said that the Supreme Court, when the Speaker's office of Rajasthan Assembly has approached the Supreme Court on July 23rd, the Supreme Court said that we are not worried about this. We are not really focusing or stopping or prohibiting the discretionary powers of the speaker. But what the Supreme Court has said is we are looking at the larger question. I said, and I'm again repeating, larger question on what? On voice of dissent. This is very, very important keyword. See, here the Supreme Court has said we are looking into the larger question on the voice of dissent. This is very important in your entire understanding, the Supreme Court statement. And the other one is the status quo order of the Rajasthan court on July 24th, which says that the speaker should not take any action against the speaker should not take any action on the 90 MLS in regards to the disqualification. So please look at the High Court is talking about disqualification. That is the discretionary powers of speaker. Please do understand, making it very clear. And the Supreme Court here is talking about the voice of dissent. It is not looking at this disqualification or the discretionary powers of the speakers. It is looking at the voice of dissent, whether the voice of dissent can be used to disqualify by the speaker on the MLS. So two different statements by the Supreme Court and the High Court, and this is what is a keyword. So you need to focus, wherein you will have the entire understanding about what the High Court, Rajasthan High Court has said and what the Supreme Court has said. Larger question on voice of dissent. Supreme Court status quo order. Paragraph 2 of 1 of here. Yes. And now we'll get into the other topic which talks about Rafale, arrives at Ambali. So we were talking about the fighter jet planes which we have purchased from France. That is, out of 36, 5 have arrived, or it has landed. The fighter jets Rafale fighter jets have landed at the Ambala Air Base, that is in Haryana, and 46 months after 46 months of the deal or the contract with France, the deal is for 7.87 billion euros. The deal is for 7.87 billion euros. Is for billion euros. And out of 36, 5 I have landed onto the in the Ambala Airport. And this formal induction will be taken place in the 17th squadron in the August month, second half of the August month. And B. Gopal has also joined. Very good morning to you, B. Gopal. And Real Music Studio has also joined. Very good morning. And what is very important is this: all this will be officially, or formal induction ceremony will take place in the second half of August, and where it will be placed in the 17th squadron. What is the 17th squadron? I'll also tell you, which is very important. So what our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has said about this 5 induction or 5 Rafale jets, fighter jets which have landed on the Ambala Air Base. Yes, he said it is a new era in the military history. He said a new era in the military history, and this is a key phrase. You need to understand, because it has been said by our defense minister in regards to the Rafale combat aircraft. He said new era in our military history, and he said it will revolutionize the capabilities of the IAF. So how the Rafale jets combat aircraft is a new era in our military history, and it will revolutionize the capabilities of IAF during the skirmish between India and China along the LAC is a question. Even for you, mains. So how this is a new era in our military history compared to the previous one, and now how it will revolutionize the capabilities of the IAF in regards to the combat, in regards to the warlike situation, which is actually the skirmish or face off is happening between India and China along the LAC. And when we look at this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all Rafale fighter jets. So what is this? What is this? So these two are what? These two are the Sukhoi 30 MKI fighters. These two. These two are Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets, which have actually escorted. They've been these Rafale jets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Rafale jets were escorted by 2 Sukhoi 30 MKI fighters. So these are very important points which I'm giving it to you for the prelims point of view. And it was landed and it was given a water cannon salute to all the 5 fighter jets. And as the jets entered the Indian Ocean region, as they entered from France, they have come to India and they have actually landed in UAE, break in UAE from France to India. They had a break in UAE, and total kilometers they have traveled is 8,500 kilometers. 8,500 kilometers travel from France to India. And when they have entered into the Indian Ocean region, stealth destroyer INS Kolkata. So INS Kolkata has established the contact with the five Rafale jets, and they have wished them the happy landing. So why I'm saying is, there could be a question in the prelims that which among the following have established the contact and wished the Rafale fighter jets and happy landing when they have entered into the Indian Ocean. Which among the following? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which is the one? The answer is INS, Indian Naval Ship Kolkata, is the answer. Stealth destroyer INS Kolkata as was the one which has been in contact with the 5 Rafale jets when they have entered into the Indian Ocean and with them the happy landing, and they were escorted by 2 Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets. And out of the 5 jets, 3 are single seat and 2 are twin seats. So 3 are single seats, 3 are single seat and 2 are twin. Twin means 2-seater capacity. And this will be having, or this entire were led by the captain called as Harkirat Singh, who is the commanding officer of Squadron 17 called as Golden Arrows Squadron. So this is what I'm again saying. So a formal induction ceremony of Rafale aircraft in 17th Squadron. So when I'm talking about 17th Squadron, that is the group is captained by Harkirat Singh, the commanding officer of 17th Squadron, and it is called as Golden Arrows. Please do understand, this is again very important for prelims. The 17th Squadron is called as Golden Arrows. Golden Arrows. This is very, very important. And Ashwini says, sir, if the arms are publicly exposed, will it be to China also? If the arms, which arms are you talking about? Yeah, even if the situation, that is what, see, all this is happening at the time of where there is a skirmish between India and China along the LAC. So definitely India is India's sending a message to China. Yes, we are also ready. If anything, what China would wish to go ahead with taking an action against India, like warlike situation. So India is also ready. So it is definitely for China also. And can we know China's capability on the missile it possesses? Definitely. See, if you look at China and Pakistan, they are also having a better equipment, better technology, but at the same time, when we are having the fighter jets, that is the Rafale, so definitely China will think over it whether to go ahead, because Earlier we didn't have the fighter jets, but now we have it. So definitely China will, and China has a better technology one. So in regards to Pakistan, they have F-16 fighter jets from USA in regards to Pakistan. And then China, yes, they do have little bit, but definitely now will pose a threat. What is very important is India is now sending a message, and India is posing a threat to China. And UMR Creations, very good morning to you. And the another news is COVID-19 fatality rate at 2.3%. So what is again very important here is the keyword case fatality rate. Case fatality rate is the keyword which you need to focus here. So the Union Health Ministry has said that the case fatality rate, now the case fatality rate stands as 2.23% of the entire cases, what the entire cases, active cases, all that I will tell you. And it says that the case fatality rate, fatality in the sense death cases, fine, it is standing as 2.23%. So what is important is the keyword case fatality rate, and it says it is the lowest, this is the lowest rate since April 1st. So it's a good news. So it's a good news that the cases, death cases are decreasing. No doubt the active cases are increasing. Please do understand, active cases are increasing, but the death cases are decreasing. It is the lowest since April 1st, 2020. So that is a good news. And why this good news is because the Union Health Ministry says it is because of the successful implementation. And these three, 1, 2, 3 are very, very important. Please do write it in your notebook. It would be very important or useful for you for a short notes in regards to the mains examination. How the government of India or the Union Health Ministry in collaboration or in coordination with the state health ministries have reduced the case fatality rate since April 1st, 2020 till July 29th, 2020, which is the lowest one, and that is because of the successful implementation of what? Successful implementation of effective containment strategy. So this is very important. So implementation of effective containment strategy. So they have come up with the effective strategies pertaining to containment areas and aggressive testing. And the second one is aggressive testing. So testings have been increased. And the third one is standardized clinical management protocol. And this is very, very important. Standardized clinical management protocols were taken up both in holistic standard of care approach. So what is very important is the successful implementation of effective containment strategy, and then aggressive testing, and then in regards to the standardized clinical management protocols. And these have resulted in a consistent trend that more than 30,000 recoveries per day for the sixth consecutive year. So what is happening is because of these three implementation, 30,000 recoveries are happening per day for the last 6 days consecutive 6 days. 30,000 cases are recovered, that is the patients who have been infected and then later on recovered. So every day 30,000 cases, 30,000 patients are recovered. So it is a good news, it is a very good news. And the ministry has said that the recovered cases, please do understand the keyword again here, recovered cases, and we'll also look at recovered rate. So the recovered cases are fast approaching to 1 million. 1 million is how much? Is equal to 10 lakhs. Is equal to 10 lakhs. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. So the total recoveries are almost, right from the first day till now, the recovery number cases are 9 lakhs 88,029 cases. So almost equal to 1 million, that is 10 lakhs, and the recovery rate is 64.51%. So this is increasing day by day, which is very, very good, very, very good. And the gap between the recovered patients and the active cases. The gap between the recovered patients and the active cases is 4,78,582. 4,78,582. So what is very important is 9,88,029. This is what recovered cases. Fine. Minus the gap between the recovered cases and active cases is 4,78,582. The gap, this is the gap. Please you understand. Gap. So if you look at the recovered cases and this is the gap. So what is the active cases? Definitely recovered cases minus the gap is the active cases. So active cases is 5,09,447 cases. So this is very important, that what we are looking at is recovered cases, recovered rate, and active cases, gap between the recovered cases and active cases. Why I am saying all these are all keywords, because earlier also we have looked at. Now also today, that is in regards to the case fertility rate, CFR. All these are keywords which are very important for prelims point of view and a better understanding. And Ashwini says, before I get into the topic, Ashwini Kumar says, sir, firstly the NEP was formed in 1968. Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. You are right. You and also Madhu both are right. 1968, very good. 1968 by Indira Gandhi on the recommendation of Kothari Commission. No, you are right. 1968. And RBI must continue monetary policy easing, says IMF official. So what is very important here, the keyword is monetary easing policy. So a policy in regards to the monetary easing in the sense relaxation. So the keyword here is monetary policy. What is monetary policy? That means how to pump money into the market. How to pump money into the market. That is monetary policy. So what the IMF officials have said is that IMF officials have said that the RBI should continue the monetary policies because of the rise in India, because of the COVID-19 cases, wherein the cases have risen in India and the economic recovery will be slow. Because of the COVID-19 cases, the IMF officials are saying that the RBI should follow the monetary policy, that is the easing the liquidity, that is pumping money into the market. Easing the liquidity is pumping money or liquidity into the market. So how will they pump money into the market? That is RBI will pump money into the nationalized banks, and as I said yesterday also, nationalized banks to the non-banking financial corporations, and then in regards to the MSMEs or NABARD, yesterday we were talking about, and then in regards to the cooperative banks and also the agricultural loans. So all these, or else ILFS or microfinancial institutions. So thereby this liquidity or the passage or the monetary easing will take place. And what the IMF is saying is this process has to be continued in India because the cases were high, and the economic recovery is slowing down. And we have seen how the RBI has taken up this because of the repo rate and the reverse repo rate. So the repo rate has been lowered or decreased by 115 points, and then in regards to the reverse repo rate, 145 basis points. So I will explain what is repo rate and reverse repo rate. Don't worry about it. I will explain what is repo rate and reverse repo rate and how the bank RBI has pumped money into the NBFCs through the repo rate and through the reverse repo rate. Two concepts that is repo rate and reverse repo rate. By this, it has pumped money into the system, and that is all the structural reforms. All those are structural reforms. Why? Because I said it is increasing the liquidity. It has focused in increasing the liquidity, especially in the financial system. As I said, the NBFCs, MSMEs, corporate banks, NABARD, and then in regards to microfinancial institutions, ILFS, all these are what? Financial system. Financial system wherein the money, the liquidity has to be there. And then easing the public financing and financial sector balance sheet. So definitely the RBI, which has taken up in regards to the pumping money into the financial system through the national banks by lowering the repo rate and the reverse repo rate by points. This is not really focused, but what is the concept of repo rate and reverse repo rate, we will look at it. And all this is what? Structural reforms. So the structural reforms taken by RBI for what? Easing of liquidity. Easing of liquidity. And this is what undertaken by the government. RBI, when I am saying RBI, it is the finance ministry. Again, it is the government of India. Government of India, finance ministry, and then RBI. Fine. And this will support what? Medium term growth. All this, the activities or the structural reforms taken up by the government of India, that is through the finance minister or prime minister, finance minister, and then the RBI, in regards to the monetary easing is will support the midterm growth of the country's economy, and this will not only this, what we need to look at is more efforts. There has to be more efforts which have to be taken in regards to the land, labor, and trade. So these are very important keywords: land, labor, and trade. This also has to be focused, and definitely the government is also focusing, but there is a lot of as I said, the migrant crisis. As I said, the migrant crisis, in regards to the migrant crisis, the migrant or the migrant labor laws or labor rights were compromised. Compromised in the sense which were taken away by various state governments. That is why it says more efforts. Please do understand, more efforts were needed in regards to the land, labor, and trade. This is what linking is. That is what you need to go ahead. And now I'll make you understand what is repo rate. So repo rate is nothing but it is a rate, percentage at which the central bank, that is RBI or apex banks, which lends money. RBI lends money. That means it gives money to whom? To the commercial banks or the nationalized banks. So RBI, whenever it is lending money to the commercial banks or national bank, there is some rate, that is percentage. So that percentage is called as repo rate. So you fix a rate. So what the RBI has done? It has lowered, it has decreased the repo rate which the RBI lends money to the commercial banks or national banks. So when the percentage or the rate is reduced, that means the amount of money which the nationalized banks or the commercial banks have to pay back to RBI will be less. So that means the banks will have more of liquidity. That is what repo rate is. That is the central bank lending money to the commercial banks whenever they are falling any short of funds. That is whenever there is less of liquidity. And reverse repo rate is at which the central bank of the country, that is the RBI, borrows money from the commercial bank. So here it is in regards to the, this is repo rate. Fine. And what is reverse repo rate? As I said, that is from the commercial banks, it is coming to RBI, and RBI is borrowing money. So here in this case, It is this way. The RBI is borrowing money from the commercial banks. Why? Because here in this case we said repo rate, whenever there is shortfall of funds, whenever there is less of liquidity with the banks, the RBI will fund money to the or pump money to the banks. But if there is more of money, more of liquidity with the banks or in the market, what it will lead to? It will lead to inflation. So whenever there is inflation or more of liquidity, more of money or surplus, see here it is shortfall of funds, but here in this case it is surplus of funds. So when there is surplus of funds or more of liquidity, that is more money flow with the banks or with the in the market, in the system. So then the RBI borrows the money from the commercial banks or the national banks. Why? To squeeze the liquidity, to squeeze in the sense to remove the liquidity, to remove the excess money. And it is what? It is a monetary policy instrument. This is used as an instrument which can be used to control. That is what I say. Whenever there is excess money, this reverse repo rate is used to control the money supply in the country. Because what is very important is that the RBI always focuses on the liquidity. It should not be less. It should not be more. It should not be less of liquidity. It should not be more of liquidity. So whenever there is less, it will pump money. Whenever it is more, it will take away the money into the RBI. So this is what repo rate and reverse repo rate. And the question for today, which will be part of the ecology and environment for mains point of view, GS, General Studies mains, ecology and environment. Fine. In regards to this, mass biodiversity literacy, please do understand here a keyword, a new keyword, mass biodiversity literacy. So people have to be literate about what? Mass biodiversity literacy should be India's mission. And the mainstreaming of biodiversity is needed in our post-COVID-19 pandemic development program. Please do understand, this is very important question which I'm picking up daily and then giving it for you, so that it will be very important. I read once again, mass biodiversity literacy should be India's mission. In regards to what? And the mainstreaming of biodiversity is needed in our post-COVID-19 development program. Full stop. Ecosystem integrity will regulate diseases and restrict the transmission of pathogens from one species to another species. Please do understand. Ecosystem integrity. So look at it. How many keywords I have brought in? Mass biodiversity literacy, India's mission, post COVID-19 development program. Fourth one, ecosystem integrity. Fifth one, transmission of pathogens. So look at it. Mass biodiversity literacy, I brought in the keyword, and then India's mission, and then the post COVID-19 developmental program or development program, ecosystem integrity, fine, and the transmission of pathogens. So look at it, how many are involved here, and this is what is important. And this is what is important in regards to making sure that how you will write the answers. So it is in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, fine, and how this COVID-19 pandemic situation has arisen. That is the cause of it. You are writing the cause, fine, and you are giving the brief introduction, how many cases of various other pandemic situation while you are writing your answer, fine, and then you also should mention about what are the challenges what India is facing in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and what developmental programs India has to take up, that is in regards to the measures. And in regards to the measures, again, what is very important is that is we are talking about India's mission, which we wanted to increase the mass biodiversity literacy. You have to put it part of your measures, and then part of the measures is also ecosystem integrity. You have to measure, I mean you have to put it in the measures, and this later on you would, what do you say, these are the measures, and then you would say conclusion, how you would conclude it. So this is, I'm giving it in regards to the how you can best write, linking the mass biodiversity literacy, and then ecosystem integrity, India's mission, and then post COVID-19 developmental program which India should take up, that how it can make sure that it will handle the future pandemic situations. Okay, how control of inflation in India through RBI? That is what I've said, Singu Subbarao. That is whenever there is more money, whenever there is more money means inflation. So whenever there is more money, the government will suck the money by the reverse repo rate, increasing the reverse repo, increasing the repo rate, and then lowering the lowering the reverse repo rate. That is sucking the money. And we have discussed in regards to the highlights of the education policy, which is in regards to the current affairs, and also as I said for prelims and for the mains, that is general essay, that is in regards to general essay. And then this is in regards to polity we have discussed, and extremely sorry, and this is in regards to the national security. This again in regards to the science and technology, in regards to the keywords, extremely sorry, there is some problem. And this is again economy, related to economy we have discussed. So these are all very important what we have discussed for the prelims point of view. And I would say a very big thank you and goodbye and good luck. I hope my session was informative, knowledgeable, and also will be very useful for prelims as well as mains examinations. And then please make sure that you like the video, share the video, and subscribe to your friends, and also visit the AKS IAS website, and also the telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System, t.me/AKS IAS, and my telegram link is t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT, t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT, S capital B capital SBT. And yesterday I have posted one PDF file, I don't know how many of you have gone through. I posted one, so please make sure that I will also post one today, also one PDF file in my telegram link, which will be very useful, and it will be an added value for your preparation. So maximum I will try to post daily one PDF file in regards to the mains point of view, so do take the advantage of it. And then whoever haven't still logged in, or else have accessed to my telegram link, please follow me, subscribe my telegram link, t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT, for the PDF files for in regards to the mains, especially editorials and articles, and then see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. once again, see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Please do stick to your schedule, and then maintain consistency, and then take care of your physical health and mental health. Once again, I say subscribe to my Telegram link t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT. Why I'm saying is daily I will post a PDF for the mains, which will be useful. That is in regards to the editorials and articles. Thank you. Goodbye and good luck. See you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.